friends. So there has been a rather hearty debate on my personal Facebook page. It's a public post. You can go check it out. But basically, I shared a piece that was about having some autonomy, that God permits that, and that people should be permitted to do what they want within their own body, that to love who they love, and that isn't really anybody else's business. And it's created some hearty debate. Most of it's fairly civil, and when I feel that it's gotten less so or not civil, I'll go in and delete some comments or things if need be. So I want it to be a place where we can hear each other. So there's value in that, even when we disagree. But for me, the bottom line, because there's a lot of talk about Scripture says this, and taking it to the nth degree, right? This all or nothing idea that it's all up to us to save each other or to regulate other people for the good of the kingdom because Jesus said so. And I'm generalizing a little bit, shorthanding that. But for me, I guess it comes down to when I look at the life that Jesus lived, it was always about reaching out, including, loving, and forgiving. I mean, it was always about that, and when he had a harsh word, which was rare, but when he did, it was for the people upholding institutions that kept those others out, that harmed those others. And in my tradition, in the Presbyterian Church USA, how we interpret and understand Scripture is basically Jesus' life, his words, how he lived, what he taught, is sort of the ultimate authority, if you will. And then, the rest of Scripture, if it disagrees with Jesus, you go with Jesus. And any of the confessions that have been written by saints and theologians throughout time are valid and good, but if they disagree with Jesus or Scripture, then you go with Jesus or Scripture. And so on, the hierarchy goes down to our book of order. And so, as people hold up pieces of Leviticus or pieces of even the Ten Commandments, say, well, I believe that has validity. And what direction did Jesus lean? Which way do we need to move in order to be more in line with the gracious and loving example? And, it kind of came up on the post, well, what if I could help somebody? What if I could save somebody? And I think that's valid too. I think we have to tell our stories. We have to love people well. We have to see when someone's hurting and do what we can. We have to stand up for the marginalized. I agree with that. And we have to do it without persecuting somebody else to do so. The ends not justify the means. It's a whole other topic. If you wanted to have a conversation about some of these hot topics like abortion or something more detailed about homosexuality, LGBTQ rights and inclusion, I'm a person who's glad to have those conversations when they're approached with a real desire to learn from each other. Not real interested in just throwing stones and staying firmly ensconced in one's own opinion. It doesn't really get anybody anywhere. So feel free to reach out to me or to Miss Peace or to First Presbyterian Daytona Beach, as these are things we're often talking about, learning about, and attempting to always become more in line with how Christ lived and behaved, and our best interpretation of what that would look like now in a new world, a world thousands of years older than the one Christ walked through. So I think that's about it today, friends. If you find yourself in a position, that'll what would Jesus do kind of thing, but really think about what would do, because I used to interpret that as just some hardline, strict, goody-goody interpretation, but that's not really who Jesus was. He was a bit of a rebel, y'all. He was a bit of a troublemaker. If not, they wouldn't have crucified him. So how about we do some of that good trouble if you're going to have to get yourself in trouble, and make sure that it's about love. And if it's not anything that you have any experience with or knowledge on, and it's about somebody else's body and how they live, probably none of your business most of the time, unless it's actively harming somebody else. So I think that's what we've got to say today. I hope that your day is full of hearty debate, but also peace. I hope that each of us is willing to listen and learn and grow. And I hope that my friends who feel like they need to save other folks can set that mantle down, give it to Jesus, because his yoke's just about love people, and that's a heck of a lot easier. Love, friends.